How's it going? Mikey here with True. We are about to string up the True Frequency Defense head. So, first impression, you may think it looks just like the frequency speed. And yes, the face shape is the exact same. The difference lies in this bottom rail, how it drops down up high, basically setting yourself up for a nice high pocket, high mid pocket. Also the stiffness, it's much stiffer, a little bit heavier. So, stringing this bad boy up, we're going to use that same new True semi-soft mesh, and we're going to do this one from the 9 diamond just like the others. So first thing we do, stretch it out. We're going to find the smooth side of the mesh, which is the inside, the side that's not being arced towards. And so we're going to fold this over, fold it over at the 9 diamond here. Get a good fold. That thing's ready to go. Now we're going to grab our top string, once again, finger to shoulder width. We're going to do a little double knot here. So loop it around in, loop it around again, pull it tight, get that nice and tight. So we got our mesh all unraveled and unfolded. We got it folded over on the 9 diamond for the top string. And now we're ready to get this thing on. We got our knot tied, ready to go on the sidewall. So we're going to go in through that second hole, then up through the mesh, pulling that over, then through the sidewall again, up through the mesh. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull that pretty tight. Now we're actually going to do one more loop through to really lock that top string in. So we do another loop, pull that nice and tight, got that locked in. Then we're going to kind of pull this across, see where we are. We're going to find the middle. So if it's 9 diamond, find the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We know that's going to want to be in the middle. So you can see this whole line's up here. We're going to go through the mesh first, back through the plastic, through this little hole we've created, pulling that tight, right on that little dimple, then through the plastic, up through the mesh, through that hole, pulling that tight, locking that in. Next one over here, through the mesh, back through the plastic, pull that tight, locking that in, through the plastic, back through the mesh. Then running across, we got to pull this one nice and tight, make sure our center one is right in the middle. It's very important that you get that lined up properly so you can ultimately have a symmetrical pocket. That's what you're looking for in a pocket, is to be symmetrical. So we're finishing off here, last one, through the mesh, back through the plastic, locking that in right there, through the plastic, back through the mesh, almost done here. Lock that in nicely. Then we just got to finish off with our double wrap right here. So here is our single wrap. Then putting it through again. Finishing off with that double. We're going to get that nice and tight. Pull that tight. Finish it off with a good single knot. Nice and tight. And there we have our top string, all good, symmetrical, and ready to go. Ready for the sidewalls. Now that we have the top string done on the frequency defense, we're going to start the sidewall. So we're going to go to the third hole down on the sidewall, through that hole, up through the mesh, pull that around, back through the sidewall, back up through the mesh. I'll lock that down. Then we're going to do a different knot. So we're going to go down through the mesh. We're going to skip a hole, and we're going to go from the inside out on the sidewall. And then see this loop we create? We're going to go up through the loop. And then from there, we're going to pull that down, cinch it down nice and tight. We're then going to do that again. So we're going to go down through the mesh, skip a hole through the inside, creates this loop, pull tight on this loop, and then we're going to pull that down, Lock it down again. That gives us those two solid locks. We're going to go down through the mesh again. We're not going to skip a hole this time. We're going to go to the next one. Out through, up through the loop. Pull that, and as I pull that, I'm starting to feel out this pocket. Pulling it up. Now I'm going to go down through the mesh again. I'm going to skip a hole this time. Up through a little hole. Pull that tight, and now I can really start to see that pocket and that channel taking shape as I pull on that thing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go down through the mesh, and then we're just going to go through the outside in, back up through this hole, create that little lock that down, then down through the mesh again. We're going to skip one again, lock that in. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go down through the mesh, but this is a pivotal point in the pocket where, depending on what we do here, we're either going to create a nice pocket or a very tiny one. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to double up here. So we're going to go down through the mesh again, pull that in, lock that in. Then we're going to skip one hole, lock this in. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go through the next hole without using the mesh again. And just create that little bridge. Then down through the mesh again. Almost at the end here. Skip one. Get that. And then our final one here. Down through the mesh. And we're going to lock this one in right next to it. And then finish by coming out here. Pull that tight. Nice little single knot to lock that in. So we got one half looking good, looking good. Now we're going to move on to the other side wall. We're going to do the same exact thing we did on the first side. So in through the plastic, up through the mesh, back in through the side of the plastic. Remember, if you can ever not get those to go through, you can reburn the tip and pinch it a little tighter, create like a little spear. So we got that cinched down. Remember, we're going to go down through the mesh, and then from the inside out through the sidewall hole, we create this loop. Then we're going to pull that string through. We're going to cinch that down. Then on the next one, down through the mesh, skip a hole again, up through our little self-created loop. We're going to pull that tight, make sure both those get nice and tight up to the plastic. On this one, down through the hole, up through the next available one. Pull that nice and tight. Down through the mesh, we're going to skip a sidewall hole here. Come up, we got this self-created loop. Pull that. And as we do this, I like to start forming the pocket. So as I'm pulling that, I'm pushing on that pocket, getting that thing ready to go where it wants to be. Now on this one, going down through the hole, we're just skipping one and locking down like that. Next one, same thing. Down through the mesh hole, skipping one, locking it down, pushing that pocket in, starting to feel really good. Now on this one, we're going to go down through the mesh, and this is when we're going to double up. So once we go down, we go through the next one as well, pull that up. We can see how that double really allows that pocket to pull up, come up there. Now in through that outside hole, lock it down, going through the one right next to it, creating a little bridge. Now going down through the top, and we're going to lock this one down after skipping one. We got our last one here to finish it off. Down through the one right next to it, pull that tight, coming over here and then finishing off through that last hole, pull it tight, lock it in, and voila, we've got our sidewall all good to go, setting up for a nice high pocket. And then we are going to put on our bottom string. So we got our bottom string ready to go here. Gonna tie a little double knot on it. Get that cinched down. So what we're going to do for this bottom string is we're going to go through the center hole, double up right away, then pop out to this outside hole. As we feel that thing up, we're going to use this same hole as where the last one on the sidewall is. And we're going to start in 2. So we're going to skip the first 2 and then go down, up, down, up. Then we're going to finish with 2 left. Then we're going to come back in around, follow the same way we did initially. Double that through here. Pull that a little bit tighter because this mesh will break in a little bit. Lock that in. And that is going to help create this nice high pocket. So this high pocket is going to be very good for ground balls, good for quick release passing for a deep hole. So the nice thing about this high pocket is, right as you scoop it up, the ball is going to go right into the sweet spot, and you're going to be ready to play from there, ready to fire away. So finally, we are going to add the shooting string. On this one, we're going to do 1 soft hockey lace and 1 nylon. You could really, ideally, you could do anything. We're going to do the 1 and 1. You could do three soft. I like to do 3 soft on mine to get a nice smooth release, but for here we're going to do 1 soft and 1 nylon. So as we analyze this, I like to kind of put that nylon at the top of where the pocket ends up here because that, I don't like too much whip with it. So I want something that's going to be a nice smooth release, enough where you can still pull it and shoot it and hold the ball, but a nice smooth release. So we're going to go right about here. So we'll run across. Here we go. So we found our sweet spot here. We are going to go around the plastic. Actually, no, we're not going to go around the plastic. We're going to go through the side of the mesh here. On the way outside of it, going up and down all the way through, all the way to the end. And once I put that first one, I kind of feel it out and see, okay, that's going to feel good with the ball popping off there. And then just like all the other shooters, we're going down and then up through the bottom part of it, down through the top, up through the bottom, down through the top, up through the bottom, down through the top, up through the bottom, down through the top, and then finish off coming up through the bottom here. We're going to tie this up. So we're going to finish off with a nylon up top. So with this nylon, we are going to run it through just the side of the sidewall and the mesh, just like the shooter, going in and out and in and out, all the way up through the top here, all the way in. Then we're going to try and get these roughly symmetrical, and then down on the top, up from the bottom, top of that nylon, bottom, going in and out, all the way to the end here. Pop that little gap through there. Now we're going to line these bad boys up, do our single knot, do another single knot, and finish off with that knot with both of them together. Really lock that in, make sure it's not going anywhere. Once again, that nylon is not too tight, not really tight at all, just there to have a little feeling so you can feel the ball kind of click off it. So then finally, to finish this off, we're going to trim all these. So I don't like anything too crazy long, so we'll chop these guys. We'll chop up here. These bottom ones, we'll chop these ones just a little bit. You do always want to have enough extra room, so if you do need to make an adjustment, you don't end up with the short end of the string. It's a real pain in the butt. So I want to make sure and burn all of these to make sure they don't fray. Usually you want to lick your fingers before you rub them, but if you keep them moving, you're good. Make sure we don't miss anything. Really, especially on these soft shooters, you really want to make sure you get everything burnt and molded back together, so then that doesn't fray and doesn't go anywhere. So here we have it, our finished product with the frequency defense head. So we have a nice high pocket with one soft shooter and one nylon. And this high pocket, you know, what it's great for is picking the ball up off the ground and having a quick release, you know, on those clearing passes, on shots, on overs, on anything you need. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a nice big pocket for a lot of control, but also a very smooth throwing stick to be able to throw good passes. That is the True Frequency defense head.